Several years ago, I was driving across the country. I live in California, and I was playing at a New Thought Center in Colorado, and it turned out it was going to be on Father's Day. And, there's a lot of back and forth with emails when you're going to show up somewhere. And the minister kept saying, "It'll be so nice to have you with us on Father's Day." And I started to think, I don't want to let these people down. I play in New Thought churches a lot, but I don't have a big Father's Day repertoire, But I thought, well, maybe I can write a song. So I tried to write a song, and that didn't go well. That never really works for me. But if any of you have ever driven across the country, if you're on Highway 80, you can actually pull out a notepad and write a song at 75 miles an hour without endangering anybody's life too seriously, because that road's so straight. So I had a little inspiration, and by the time I got to Fort Collins, most of the song had come together. This one's for my father and my daughter. Down by the ocean, my fingers wrapped in a tiny hand. You laughed and chased the waves that washed up on the sand. At bedtime, next to you, I could feel the warmth of your breath as you drifted off to sleep, your tiny arm around my neck. Those memories are 18 years away when you say, "Dad, I love you. Happy Father's Day." My father had never preached at me. Actions speak louder than words. Tell the truth and pull your own weight was a message I heard when I was stranded on the highway, 50 miles from who knows where. He said, "Well, let me put my shoes on. I'll be right there." So Dad looked me in the eye so you can hear me say, "Thank you so much. I love you. Happy Father's Day." At Christmas, we sit together, book of songs on my knee, Dad on my left, she's on my right, voices in 3-part harmony, and love flows through those melodies and the songs of yesterday, and the love leaking down my cheek is more than I could say. And I'm here in the middle as another year slips away, with a heart that's overflowing on this Father's Day, with a heart that's overflowing on this Father's Day.
Abby, thank you for your music, and thank you for your vulnerability and your tear and your emotion, because you just brought it real here. You just made it open. And in this community, we appreciate that, do we not?
I notice it's always a co-creation. You know, sometimes I play that song a lot with dry eyes, just like playing through the song, and then it's the environment and the hearts really have a big effect. It's always a co-creation, so thank you. Great to be with you all this morning.
We're a spiritual community that loves tissues, and if you're new here, you learn to bring them sometimes with you, because we know that that's the healing energy. That's just love flowing through, and we're here to be just vitally alive, and that means just feeling everything. That means living with wide open wonder inside. So it is my honor to acknowledge and welcome Martha Creek. She is a spiritual teacher. She is a mentor to many ministers in our movement and in other spiritual movements, and she helps people bring these practices from textbook word phrases into actual living, into places where we can unlock the emotions and unlock the mentality of our spiritual practice and bring it into a living experience of peace. And so would you help me welcome Martha Creek?
Well, what they call me when they're not up here is she's a tormentor to many. So some call me mentor, some call me tormentor. That's my job. So get a sense today then, if you were willing to be tormented just a hair. Anybody willing? If you're not crying already this morning, you ain't listening. There's already been such precious invitations and opportunities this morning for expansion, awakening, for atonement, for realigning. And get a sense then of taking your spiritual hat off a minute. Some of you need help. Some of you need 2 hands. Others need a crowbar. So what do you think I would want you to get your spiritual hat off for? How could it be beneficial this morning to set that concept of spiritual aside? How could that be helpful? Anybody? How would you be better off if you didn't think you know what being spiritual is? To get real, to be here now, to be human, to actually look at our BS, to look at our belief systems. So spirituality matters not. Only the state of your consciousness. Only the state of your consciousness is going to serve you when it hits the fan. Your belief system will not serve you when it hits the fan. Because this underworld, this unfinished, this unexamined, this depressed, suppressed, disowned aspects of ourselves will override it. Have you noticed? Which is what I mean when we say, it's all good. It's all good. It's like, well, tell your face. Because it has not caught up. It has not caught up. So maybe in the absolute, is it all good? In the absolute. In the absolute. But back here at the ranch, we've got some boogers. Anybody with some boogers? Yeah, let's see if we can name a few. Anybody here still blame others for the shape you're in? Throw your hands up. It feels good. It'll be like a wave, you know, in the sports stadium. Everybody throw your hands up. Yay! Yes, I blame. Now, what's it like when people blame you? So when I do it, it's justifiable. I'm a mind reader. When they do it, it's unfair, awful, negative. Loco. This is the incongruency. This is the incoherency of what we say, what we espouse. And what have we applied? And every master teacher so far has said, it's not what you know, it's not what you speak, it's not what you say, it's how you practice it. It's how you live from this, to live as this. So it's not so helpful that you know to quote these things. It's like without the doing these things, without the being these things. So get a sense then of looking back on your own life. Many of you have heard me say it. You know, here lies Martha. She had issues. Here lies Martha. She had dramas. Here lies Martha. Now, she could do some complaining. I mean, what happened to your spirit even as you just heard that? What happened? Yes, like our luminosity dial got turned way back. So what did that? What did that? And who's holding the key to that luminosity dial? Who's holding the key to the way you experience what's happening? This is good news. Some of you are holding your key up. Some of you are pointing to yourself like, yes, this is the gospel good news of the morning. I have the key. It's not just a theory. So what I name a thing, I'm going to experience it as that. So if I name they're blaming me awful, unfair, what will I experience? Victimhood, the oldest archetype known to creation. So if you named their blaming, if you called a thing what it is, how would you experience their blaming? Of less importance. How else would you experience their blaming if you didn't start to relate to it? If you didn't judge it, call it bad, negative, awful, wrong, if you stopped doing that, if you absolutely quit that, what could you create? So in the face of blaming, what would be another possibility for you? Neutrality. Would that be okay with you? You don't have to love their blaming. You don't have to like their blaming. Oh, they're blaming me. Goody, goody, goody. It's like, no, that's not what a sane person would say in the face of blaming. It's like they're blaming. It's understandable. They're blaming. It's part of being a human. They're blaming. It's as old as creation since the Garden of Eden. So we can either then come out of that, rise above that, and pass that new way of being down to these babies being born, or these children, or the next 7 generations, or we can hand down this old, archaic, 2,000-year-old blaming, victimhood way of being. So what's your part? What's your part? You're already getting guidance. You've had it this week. You've had it this morning. Some kind of guidance came through you to quit something and to begin something. You're being impulsed to put energy in a certain direction, to create and innovate in a certain direction that's new. Get a sense of it. Now, I have a list of a few that could help some of you if you want the fast track, and we'll go into it deeply at the workshop today. So cancel where you think you have to be from noon to 2 and dive in here in the deep end of what's left, of what would blind me or block me, or false ideas, false error thinking, instinctual patterns, deeply rooted patterns to have today to be the day that you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually rise above these 2,000-year-old patterns. Quickly offended. What would it be like if you quit just that one thing? If after today you could no longer be offended, what would that be like? Get a sense of it in your body. Now, the offenders are not different. They're still doing what they do. You're different, however. What would you be? Who would you be if you could no longer be offended? Free, I heard free. What else? Powerful, healed, lighter, peaceful. Is this what you dream of? Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with Him. Let there be peace on earth. Soon as she apologizes, I'll think about it. There's one power and one presence in all the universe and in my life, and it is not her. And it is not the past, and it is not an imagined future. There's one power and one presence in all the universe that is impulsing me to rise above formerly held BS, belief systems. Then it gets juicier and juicier. The more I work with this, the more I live from this. So then my mind would tell me things like, you know, if I gave you a little assessment on how compassionate you are, 1 to 10, what number would you give you in compassion? What about self-compassion? Blaming myself, even if I stop blaming them and quit blaming them and continue to self-hate. Masochism. So blaming, stopping it there, stopping it here, increasing compassion there, compassion here. I had a psychological profile a few years ago, and their concerns about me was included. There's likely a list. They only reported on 1 or 2. That I lean toward saint. Well, thanks. And where's your problem? So Saint Martha, and trying to uphold a persona of that. If you had said, now Martha, how compassionate are you? And I practice it. I practice every day. I practice every night who I've put out of my heart to get them back into my heart. I practice making amends. I write letters. I make phone calls. I make apologies, statements of regret. I am committed to be the first to do this. when there's a breakdown, when there's a misunderstanding, when there's bristling. You know, where two or more are gathered, there will be bristling. Yeah, so I want to be the first to admit those bristles and the first to get those bristles back in when I can. So I was caring for my father, and he was in his last months, and I was feeling pretty righteous about how compassionate I was. And after all I've done for him, and after all I've done for God, and there I sat in my service, my sacred service to my Father. Then, is this compassion? Is it true that this is compassion? So here's a little example. Daddy, do you want a drink of water? No, honey, I don't. Well, here, okay. Just drink this much. Just, drink it down to here. I took the ice out and all that so it would be easier to go down. And all about that pneumonia and hydration and all that. Now drink some water. Compassion. Daddy, do you want to go for a walk? Okay. I don't, honey. Well, okay, go ahead and get up. You know the drill. Put your hands around my neck and I'll swing your legs around. Saint Martha. I don't know what compassion was. I had a BS about compassion. And I was as innocent as they come. I was the last to know that my little bitty view of compassion was just that. A little bitty view of compassion. So I enlarged my framework. I enlarged my perspective on what compassion is. Got right in here, got right with myself. And then I got right out here. And then it looked like this. Daddy, do you want some water? No, honey, I don't. Okay, now did you hear all that this morning about hydration and pneumonia and all that? Sure did, honey. If you decide, your water's right here, just like you like it, and I'm here. Daddy, do you want to go for a walk? I don't, honey. Now you got all that about the pneumonia and all that, and walking. Yep. Okay. If you change your mind, let me know. Then out of the clear blue yonder, he would say, is there any water in that glass? Who knew he could detect thirst? Who knew that he could tell when he was thirsty? Here's your water. And he'd say, I think I'll walk down to that nurse's station. And I'd say, can I go? So who would you be if you knew that all of the BS was BS? The entire belief system. And it is here, and we've been instructed by every master teacher to question this, to question, to inquire, to know thyself, to regulate thyself, and to renew your mind, and to renew this mind, which is a full-time job, and then some. for it is infinite. So get a sense now of rising above it. Regardless of what happened, I don't have to love it, I don't have to like it, I don't have to understand it. I will no longer try to make sense out of things that do not make any sense for my own sake. And I will continue in a conscious evolution, accepting that I cannot exceed my own evolution. And that all the power and all the presence and all the possibility is within me and is within you. So turn to somebody and tell them, hey, I'm rising above it. I'm going to rise above it. Those of you listening, tell you and tell yourselves, I'm rising above this. I'm rising above it. Regardless of what happened, I don't have to love it or like it. I'm rising above it. I see a new way for me. I see a new way of being for me. And I'm starting today. And I believe you are too. And I love you, cannot help it. And I know you're my friend. And I know that we are the ones. And if anybody else on this planet could do it, they'd be in these seats. So it is us. And I bless you as you fulfill your own calling to creating this new way of being in the world. And Godspeed to you in all the ways that you serve and that you live from that, be that, do that, think that, pray that, and then embody that in mighty, powerful, bliss-filled, practical ways in doing so. And then here lies Martha, she had issues. Here lies Martha, she had ideas. Here lies Martha, she had dramas. Here lies Martha, she had determination. She had dreams. She went toward them. Here lies Martha, she complained. Here lies Martha, she had contributions. Here lies you. One hurts, one doesn't. You decide. And then again, and then again, and then again. Blessings and love to you.
I just wanted to say a quick endorsement for the workshop, Martha's Workshop. If you haven't experienced her work before, I've had the good fortune to be part of or attend many of her events. And my favorite thing about these events is the transformation. And she's so funny, that too. Love you, Martha. A few years back, I got a letter from a friend. It was a poem. It said, uni-verse, one verse. And you all probably knew that, but when I saw that universe, I realized I've been saying the universe my whole life, but I never thought of it as one song. But you knew that already, that one? So I just thought, wow, how amazing. I've been using this word my whole life. One song, how beautiful. And that turned into this song. Something is building, I can hear the momentum. It's the sound of change, the sound of things to come. It's building in our cities, it's building in the towns. It's the song within, waiting to be found. Only you know the part that is written within your heart. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth. You're the missing voice in this symphony. Everyone is needed for true harmony. The melody for you is just behind the doubt. Sing and remember what this life's about. Only you know the part that is written within your heart. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love divine. We are the one world choir. Lift the vibration higher. Heart as wide as the sky above. Our song can heal, so send it out with love. Yeah. So would you help us sing the last chorus? So the words, one verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love divine. Just remember the word one, and you'll be halfway there for the chorus, okay? And we've got one more verse, but maybe if you could help us. Yeah. We come from the light, and that's where we go. One family, here to learn and grow. Give the gift of you, that is your melody. This song called life, one great symphony. It's time to sing the part that is written within our heart. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love. Help us. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love divine, one love divine, one love divine, one love divine.